Hi, hello, hi, I'm Exalt, Star, or Kasa. I don't care. Call me one of the three. It's been a while since I last made a video like this one, hasn't it? To be honest, this is actually a bit of a harder video for me to make considering the impact that this event had me as a person. I know Kasa7 just passed, but it's important for me to come out here and speak about my experience. Not only has this event done a lot to change me as a person, but has helped me to shape me better. Which is funny given the context of the story that are not amazing and tackles the topic of. But that's besides the point. If anything, I want to talk about how this event somehow gave me the courage to get out of the roughest relationship in my life. Now, I would like to start this off with a bit of a side tangent, so if you're not interested, please feel free to skip here. Otherwise, enjoy this tangent before I get into all the stuff. I know it's been like a really long time since I last made a video, like a proper video like this one, and I'm really sorry. I've been really busy with my senior year and getting prepared for college, and that's pretty hard if I don't say so myself. Admittedly, there was a lot of things that came into the way, such as me losing my motivation and this relationship I'm about to talk about. I also got into fandubbing. I think that's kind of showcased a little bit in my channel, but I've gotten into fandubbing, and that's kind of the reason why this whole thing kind of sparked. And it's just been a huge mess. I'm not like saying fandubbing is bad or anything, far from it. I love the spirit. I've met many amazing people. And I also learned how to voice Tsukasa in some form, which is really funny given my voice. But to be frankly honest, I'm so sorry for that. It's just been a wild ride. It's been so many things have been happening, and it's really hard to comprehend everything. And I totally get why somebody would not be able to withstand me being gone for so long, and I'm really sorry about that. I've been meaning to make more videos as of late, but I was kind of trapped in this relationship that's kind of made me lose all my motivation and all the stuff I wanted to do. And yeah, that was really hard. Speaking of, if you're here for information about any of the stuff I do, oh boy, let me get into the details for those. If you were wondering what happened to specifically Danganronpa Hero, no, we're not dead. The server ended up getting nuked because I wanted to revamp it for something new in the future, and it hasn't been finished yet, but we are going to plan on opening some point after the series ends. Why? Because there's a lot of things that are kind of showcased there and are showcased as little teasers on the channels themselves. If you're interested in Danganronpa Heroes' content, please subscribe to the channel or just check out the AO free page here. We're planning on posting a new chapter very soon, I promise. It's just that art block got to us, and there's also art fight that Wumi Draws is doing right now, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. So I'm not going to pressure her or anything. At the end of the day, I don't want this to be like a toxic work environment, and I want her to take as much time as needed. So please be patient when we work on chapter 8. We haven't forgotten about this project yet. It's just been a whole wild ride. I mean, especially knowing that it's been like 6 or 7. Oh god damn it. It's been about like 7 months since the previous chapter came out, and I'm really sorry about that. I have no intentions of delaying this any more longer, but once more, art block can get to everyone, so it makes it really difficult. Anyways, other than that, I don't think I have much to say other than like, hey, here's your Team Hero update. Yeah, I think that changed a lot from the point I last time showed them. I'll make a Team Hero video eventually. Give me a bit of time before I actually go ahead and do that. But yeah, I think that's about it for life updates. Yeah, sorry about this whole tangent. I kind of went on an unscripted rant here. So yeah, back to the actual video, and this video actually has a script, so please bear with me. Now that's out of the way, I want to give context about this whole thing and why Kasa7 had some impact on that situation. So here, Kasa7 is about Tsukasa learning how to act and how to basically kill someone. That's not the best summary here. Kasa7 focuses on the aspects of Tsukasa and enters deeper into how his mind subconsciously buried the worst memories of his life, alongside demonstrating the fear of being forgotten and how grooming affects someone, even if that grooming doesn't have any intentions of being sexual. If you want me to get into detail about this whole thing, you're gonna have to wait a bit longer for my analysis, but that's besides the point. That's just like the summarized version of this, since Tsukasa is doing somewhat better at the end of the event. He's not exactly the best, however, the reason why this event holds such an impact to me is just some other factors. It goes into the fear of being forgotten, which is similar to the fear of abandonment, which is something I have, alongside Tsukasa being painfully relatable throughout the course of this event. Still, that's not the main reason why this event impacted me the way it did. It actually impacted me in a completely different way that isn't even closely related to how the event plays out. No, this event taught me how to break apart from a toxic relationship. What? Okay, yeah, this is hard to explain considering that the only toxic relationship that was how Sasaki was grooming Tsukasa. However, that doesn't mean it didn't leave an impact. If anything, it told me to wake the hell up because I was going through hell. So anyways, let's get into this whole mess, but also showcase how Kasa7 left that type of impact on me. So with the intro out of the way, I do need to place some quick trigger warnings here. Since this was one of the hardest things I've gone through, I will be talking about the following: manipulation, grooming, being weird, and boundaries being crossed. I know some of these aren't exactly triggering, but they're important to the subject. If you are not comfortable with any of the topics here, I suggest that you click off. Anyways, let's get on to the rest of the video. This was a toxic relationship I held with a fandub friend of mine. Yeah, if you know me from fandubbing, you definitely know who I'm talking about. But if not, that's also okay, because there's not a huge requirement for you to know who this weirdo was. Anyways, these were just one of the hardest months of my life. When this event happened, I won't deny, I low-key caused a fire at first because... yeah... okay, I'm not the greatest person ever, far from it, especially since I don't think I'm an angel from the shit I caused. However, that's not important to the subject, is it? Yeah, okay, let's get into it since all I do is ramble. Once more, I already expressed how Kasa7 made me create a hard decision in my life, and this is that decision. It specifically taught me how to cut people off, or at least how to do a better job at communicating and telling people to fuck off. Meeting this person was such a weird experience since it was so early in my fandubbing career. This person admittedly was fine when I first met them, nothing serious between us. It was just one-off conversations and I wasn't really bothered. At the same time, I'm not usually a huge fan of getting DMs out of the blue from randoms. But eventually we did actually get closer and I started being more okay with them. But then, I think I slowly felt more and more distant from this person after more weird stuff happened. But if I'm gonna be honest here, me starting to cut this person off resulted from me getting pissed over somebody misinterpreting one of my favorite focus events of all time. They needed to die. They needed to go. That's not true. I exaggerated that a little. Okay, maybe a lot, but that's not the point here. The point is that you don't fucking misinterpret Kasa7 around me, because then I will kill you as a result. That's not true. I made that up. Oh my god, I need to genuinely shut the hell up. On a genuine serious note, I'm gonna be discussing one of the hardest 6 months of my life. About 5 more, to be honest. If this person is watching this video, hi? Don't sign me out for this because I already did so, and I'm not interested in another fucking rodeo again. I already said this once, and I'll say this multiple times. Get the hell out of my life. No more getting into my life because you and I are done. Now, to get on to the story time. On the morning of June 26th, I received alarming DMs from this person. This person in question informing me how they wanted to kill someone. I mean, I could go into detail about what these thoughts were, as they were exposed at the end of the day, so yeah, they told me about thoughts about wanting to kill their parents. Why is this important? Kasa7. This dumbass told me numerous times that this was because of Kasa7, telling me that they were slowly becoming Tsukasa. As if Tsukasa wanted to kill his fucking parents! He thought about it and then panicked after realizing he could never do such a thing. How do you genuinely misinterpret this shit so badly? I'm appalled. Like, I've never been so shocked. It's one thing to get the messages to begin with, but it's another thing when we start to misinterpret my favorite focus event. You are talking to the Tsukasa fan. You've associated me with Tsukasa so many times, and yet you managed to misinterpret what occurred in that scene. To the Tsukasa fan you called your best friend? Are we dead ass? Dude, this was genuinely kind of embarrassing for them. Like, there was no way such a thing occurred right in front of my eyes. But anyways, I came to my girlfriend and my best friend worried about this whole thing. Now again, this happened because this guy was an idiot and misinterpreted the event, which got me unbelievably frustrated in the long run. However, this was a decision I've been debating about doing for a super long time. I ended up having trouble figuring out what the best decision, but both agreed that I needed to step away. I spent the rest of the day basically spending time making a few things before cutting them off, such as making an exposure document and figuring out the best way to tell them that I'm gone. It was really difficult given the fact this person was very emotionally unstable. It was part of the reason why I spent so much time debating on whether or not I truly wanted to leave them. However, I needed to do what was best for my health, and this was the way. Eventually, they woke up. They were in Japan, so I needed to wait. I hopped on the call with my best friend and girlfriend, preparing everything together. Then, it happened. I cut them off. It was strange, but then I explained myself to a few people. That's when another issue arose. It was revealed to me that numerous other people had issues with them. What the fuck? So of course, I had to do something about it and explain the exposure document. Now, I would like to state that I was not working on this for the past 2 months. That's not true. If anything, I've been debating on it. Then I finally made it in 1 day. Now, I'm not sharing any of these unless you're in the fandom sphere. That's just not an accurate representation of the type of person I am. This wasn't just because they misinterpreted Kasa7. No, I don't go hunting down people for misinterpreting an event. That was just mainly the cataclysm. Anyways, back to the subject of the video of why this guy needed to go. Originally, my document contained a lot of personal stuff, which made several people angry with me. I don't blame them for getting mad, admittedly, considering how poorly handled the whole thing was. I know I could have handled this in a better way, and I learned from my mistakes. The main reason why this doc was poorly handled was the heat of the moment. I wasn't really fully prepared for something insane like this, and I wanted this person out because they were a weirdo. Then a response doc came out 3 hours later with 0 screenshot proof. And then I got threatened to be exposed. What the fuck is going on? So a lot of things happened, and I can't go into detail about that, but what I can explain is how that affected my health. I was wrecked. I was genuinely mentally suffering. I was having a hard time since that was the day of my brother's birthday, so it was really hard to balance all of this shit. But eventually, we discovered that this guy was even more of a creep. See, when I made my doc originally, I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was being too harsh about this, and that I was being nonsensical. No, turns out this guy's an actual groomer and was being weird with minors. Get out! Honestly, I still can't believe that I was close friends with someone like them. They low-key made my life hell, which, granted, I didn't say to them, but they were just so mentally unstable, I couldn't say to them directly, or else I would have died! Again, no, I wouldn't, because that's the type of vibe this relationship felt. It was really hard to deal with someone who would constantly come to you for help. I'm not saying don't come to your friends for help, but please ask before dropping vents when they're simply not present. Again, it just felt like being trapped under this belief you must listen to this person no matter what. Also, a fun fact about the dog, I was told a few times that this person had BPD and DID. This was something that was told to me a few times and I was informed about. However, there was something sort of crucial to this whole mess. I wasn't informed whenever the altar would show up. That's really important for those who don't know who's fronting. Oftentimes, this altar and the host would be the same, which isn't true about how DID works. And then it was revealed that this was faked. It was genuinely ridiculous to see how much this person still continued to twist a lot of the stuff they did. Like, okay, I understand as a team, you want to know the answers to everything. I get it. However, it's one thing to say, I have, instead of going, I suspect, I have. Like, a small word change is all that matters. Don't self-diagnose yourself because you're going to hold a belief that you have a disorder when in reality you don't. Okay, hi, Editing Exalt here. I would like to just clarify here because I sound really stupid and I'm really sorry about that. What I mean to say is that you can self-diagnose yourself, but don't go around saying you have this disorder. Please, please, please go to a professional and get officially diagnosed with papers and all that with a professional before going around and announcing that you have a disorder, okay? Thank you so much. It's not good to have that since when you do get properly diagnosed, it may be something else entirely. I should have definitely said something earlier, and that's something I regret. The thing was, I just didn't feel like this relationship was mutual. Again, this is something I take accountability for, unlike somebody else. And I will not deny that I need to better establish boundaries for myself and this other person. However, there was this one time I did. Here, take a look at this screenshot in particular. I discussed setting boundaries, correct? Yeah, I did. Didn't I? So So tell me why my boundaries were still broken even when establishing new ones? Like, I'm sorry, who told you were the exception? I never told you were the exception to anything. If anything, you were the reason why I established these boundaries. I understand how disorders like autism and ADHD would potentially make you miss that, but I've studied disorders plenty of times. I would know. I took psychology in senior year, let alone college psychology. So yeah, I'm pretty well informed about this whole thing. I'm not saying I'm a professional, no. But I do know a lot about psychology, and one of the last things we focused on was disorders. It was actually kind of obvious to me that this person didn't have DID. But enough about me flexing about my psychology stuff. This person was 17, and while yes, you have these disorders, you're not an idiot. People are disabled by these disorders since that's how the disorders are. However, that doesn't mean it excuses anything. It just provides an explanation. You're 17, not a baby. Again, the main thing I would like to point out is this whole grooming thing. Like, oh my god, this guy was texting minors about shit that's not safe for life. This fucker was just so creepy. Like, it was the worst I've seen someone be. It was dangerous thoughts of murder, and alongside the fact this guy would send audios to minors. Unsolicited and without consent, so that's even more great. This whole thing was just a mess in general. Never did I expect someone I was once close friends with would become such a terrible person. Granted, the signs were there admittedly, but I didn't pay much attention to them since I was kind of trapped. To focus on something more serious, the reason why I sort of made a change in tone is because this is a very heavy topic. I know I make light of the situation, but that's simply a coping mechanism. These past few days, while I'm doing better, still fucked me over. I've been trying my best to get past these moments, but it's not like I was groomed. However, I was still affected by someone I used to trust. This was someone who had ruined my mental health for 5 months of my life, during arguably one of the most stressful times of my life. It really does suck. It truly does. This person was someone I used to hold close to me. I won't deny that, but over time, they proceeded to stress me out and proceeded to drive me mad every time I get a ping on Discord. I honestly feel more chronically online than I originally did. It sucks a lot because now I'm terrified of pings in the morning. However, now I feel more at ease with myself since I finally broke out of a toxic relationship. It was toxic for both of us, not just myself. I did it for myself, but at the same time, I originally did it for them too, until all the stuff about them was revealed. I hold nothing ill toward this person. All I can really ask for is that they seek the mental health that they deserve to find. There was stuff I appreciated from them, stuff I enjoyed, but it was never going to be enough to fix the damages done to me. It hurts still. I think it's going to hurt forever. My health isn't going to be the same as someone else getting groomed by this person. However, there's no reason to compare trauma. At the end of the day, we were all affected. If anything, I just want to be left alone, so please, don't ever try to contact me ever again if you're watching this. I don't want you in my life for a reason. I want you out of my life for good, and I want nothing from you. Even if you fully recovered and your mental health is doing better, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be thrown into your mess ever again, and I was doing worse than I have ever been before in my life. So please, just go away, please. That's all I could truly ask of you. But how does this relate back to Kasa7? Obviously the fact that it gave me the push to actually cut this guy, but I've been scared for some reason this event gave me this push. Perhaps it's the fact that I analyzed the hell out of that event, discovered grooming through Sasaki, and started making the connections. It's obvious to me that this person isn't doing mentally well, so this event was kind of the push I needed to get them out of my life. But like I said in the beginning, this event made me discover parts of myself and made me painfully relate to Tsukasa. Those aspects of him were aspects that speak to me, and that's how it's been. That's how it's always been since I first fell in love with Tsukasa last year. I know that hasn't been a long time, but he made me feel seen. There was something I saw in him that I saw in nobody else, and that's what truly makes him special. There was so much I can painfully relate to, and using Kasa7 was that push I needed to end the most toxic relationship in my life. Sure, it feels like I did this out of pettiness, but there was just so many factors that led to me shoving this person out of my life. It was for the best, and they needed to get off the internet so they could actually get some help. I don't want to know what happens to this person since I'd rather forget about ever meeting them. Yes, there were happy memories I hold with this person, but that doesn't fix the damages done to me that fucked me up badly. Kasa7 taught me a lot of things. Yeah, this was a weird thing that Kasa7 taught me, but I'll forever be grateful for it nonetheless. It showcased so many things about Tsukasa, and that I was able to use to identify many things in my life. It helped me in a way that makes almost next to no sense, but I don't care. It deserves to be held a special place in my heart because it gave me that push I so desperately needed. So all I can say is, thank you for this event. I learned a lot about myself and how to handle things. That I'll truly never be alone when the worst of the worst happens. I talked a lot here, and this was a pretty difficult video for me to make, especially knowing how recent the event was. This was only about like 2-ish weeks ago, almost like a week ago. I don't know, but yeah, this video is not super easy to make, especially knowing that this person is somebody I once held in my life, and then they kind of tore me apart. Again, if you're watching this, and I guess now you're seeing my true self, that's because I felt trapped by you. You trapped me under this relationship that I felt like I was incapable of really telling you. I saw screenshots of you literally making fun of me, and they hurt. I won't deny they hurt. Yeah, you may have been hurt by my actions, but you were not allowed to hurt others, and then come up to me and just lie to my face with free voice messages I didn't even want to hear. Again, you were reaching out to me when I told you to go away. So that already speaks volumes of the type of person you are. And if you see this, and you decide to comment, I'm gonna delete your comment. I'm sorry. Again, I'm just telling you, I want you out of my life. I don't care if you're like around my channel or shit. If you find this video and see my true colors, then fine, so be it. This really expresses who I am. Because you kept me trapped. And you can say all you want. You can tell me I'm so scary of you. Ooh, you're so scary. Because you were scary. Being mentally unstable is scary to deal with. And cutting you off was already a really hard decision to begin with. So yeah, obviously, it's not easy for me to talk out about these things. Like, it truly isn't. Like, I understand that I'm a year older than you, but you also mentioned that I apparently weaponized your age when I only used our ages to compare that our maturity levels are not different from each other. I need you to get that in your head. We are very close in maturity, by the way. But enough about me rambling. That's about it for this video. The Kasa7 analysis video is planned to come out in about 2 weeks after this one. I need to finalize a lot of the script, and I need to do the analysis of the MV, which I haven't done yet, and it's been like a week since this MV came out. Oh my god. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This video was super hard for me to make, but I really wanted to showcase my appreciation for this focus event because it taught me a lot of things and told me to get out of toxic relationships. So yeah, there's that benefit. So yeah, there's not much I can say. See you guys in another time, in about hopefully 2 weeks. I want to post more, but there's no guarantee for that. Other than that, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Also, stay tuned for more DRH stuff if you're interested in that. I promise DRH is not canceled. Also, yeah, that's about it. One last message for this person. If you're still here somehow, then fuck you. Genuinely fuck you. Just fuck you. That's all I can really say. Bye, everyone.